it's almost, you feel like you're checking your mic as if you check whether you're on mute on a Teams call. So it's good to be doing an event in person after a very long time. Yes, I am with a product company, but I'm taking this session more as a BeNext evangelist. I'm a faculty with People Matters on several of their BeNext programs, ranging from employee experience to technology selections. I've had a career which has spanned service providers, system integrators, and product firms. So if there are attendees who are from the fraternity of products or services, please don't mind if I'm giving away trade secrets. So there's a successful HR technology deployment, right? Each and every one of us deals with technology, digital platforms in some way or the other. It'll be good to get a sense from the room on how's this landscape like, so that I can stress on certain points, not stress on the others. So I can pick up one segment after the other. Let's keep it interactive. So typically in your day-to-day life, how many digital platforms do you interact with? Don't think work, you can think work and life both. So anyone want to go? I didn't want to do Menti or anything. We are so used to it these days. So let's do it the old-fashioned way. How many platforms do you interact with in a day? You can think Insta, LinkedIn, Facebook, at work, Teams. Any count? Any count? 5? 10? 2? 20? Yeah. That gentleman there is closer. So there's a consumer research which was done at Davos this year. An average person who's living in a city like Singapore will interact with close to 18 to 25 digital platforms in a day. That's work and life put together. Most of them are life, right? But it's that same notion which is hitting our work life also, even more so as we emerge stronger post the effects of the pandemic. Second question. What is it that you desire out of your investments in technology? Everyone is investing, that's a moot point. But what is it that you want out of your investments in technology? Give me just 3-4 words. Easy? Louder please. Productivity.
Return on investment.
Return on investments. Experience. Few. Okay, all of this has been covered. And this one I'll request all of you to do a show of your hands. If you think of your HR technology right now, whatever you may be using, how satisfied are you? If you are satisfied on a scale of 1 to 10 and you would rate your satisfaction 8 and above, please raise your hands. 8 and above on a scale of 1 to 10. Very good. I'll look you up after this event. Love to get some tips from you. But in this room, one hand went up. In today's session, I will share my experiences, what I've learned from clients, what I've seen others do and heard their stories. It might be provocative for a few of you, but let's go through this journey on what will it take you that the next time when you're in a master class like this and somebody asks, on a scale of 1 to 10, how satisfied are you, and you want to be on that net promoter positive side, your hands go up, right? So let's go through that journey, right? We are looking at an era of massive new possibilities, right? The entire theme of Tech HR has been centered around the new possibilities which are there. Be it the way businesses are adapting to change, the way businesses are driving speed, many of them running at multiple speeds, one really accelerating growth, one stabilizing, focusing on productivity, one probably looking at expansion through other ways. Businesses are changing and they're exploring new possibilities. Work is changing. I've done work for government organizations, for large oil and gas organizations, for banks, places where work from home, hybrid work was a taboo. Now, as that work changes and people know that work can happen, what's changing, right? You're looking at how can we drive networks better? How can we know our talent better, right? Everyone in this room at some point in stage would have scratched their heads and thought, oh, wow, what if we had a talent marketplace or a automated career path system, right? And our workers are changing. Workers today have more respect for their personal time. They are more inclined towards purpose. They are not the run-of-the-mill workers who are working just for salary. They want more out of life. All of this is happening. Technology is not the answer. And we will go through it, why technology is not the answer. But I will tell you this, that technology is a big catalyst to all these changes being possible. One very fast example which comes to mind is succession. We've all been there. I started off my career in Hewitt Associates, and succession planning was done for the top 1%, the top 2% of an organization, because you didn't have the tools to do it across the organization. Today you do. So the way technology is acting as a catalyst is that it is equipping you with tools which help you look at data, look at decisions, measure things, record transactions. It could be a performance conversation, make sense out of it and give you nudges to that. So it's a catalyst at best. Make no mistake, it's a catalyst. It will drive a lot of things, it's a catalyst. And still people are struggling. The data is out there, I will not go there. We did that sense check in this room. One hand goes up when it comes to very high satisfaction on technology. You have overruns on your projects. Projects are not considered successful. And all of the three things which were mentioned, right? We'll have a more strategic HR function. We'll have a better employee experience. We'll have better ROI. It'll be easy. None of that is being met. Why is that so? That's the problem we'll solve for. And to look at that, I will cover 4 parts of your journey. There can be 4, there can be 6, but let me talk through them. There's the first part where you're planning. You can call it needs identification. You can call it, this is the place where I'm discovering what I want to do out of technology for my organization. There's that stage. Then there is a very important stage where you evaluate. You walk out there, you will find numerous service providers, numerous technology products available over there. And I think this is one of the most underrated yet most impactful part of your journey. How are you evaluating? Then comes, you will implement it. Now implement can have aspects of design, it can have the aspects of configuration. You will do all of those. And then last but not the least, 8 out of 10 people over here will end up buying a cloud product, right? You'll buy software as a service. It is a journey. In all evaluations, one of the most common pitfalls is we forget about the other side of SaaS, which is the service. How do we look at that? How do we make sure that cloud is a journey for you? We'll talk about that. And though there is a lot to cover, 1 or 2 top high impact items I will touch upon. So let's look at planning. Anyone over here who is right now in a stage where you are thinking of enhancing employee experience through technology, or thinking of, I would love to have a technology in this space. Anyone in that space? Okay. Would you mind sharing with the group what technology? Yes. Yeah, all right. So there's recruitment and onboarding. What about you, sir? Fantastic. So expense and reimbursement. I'll try and bring those into the examples that I'll share, right? A common misnomer is that anything to do with technology is termed as HR transformation. Don't call it HR transformation if it is not. And I'll define what HR transformation entails. If you think of 4 disciplines, right, the way we think of our HR strategy and the linked program design, the way that program design impacts our HR roles, HR capabilities, and the way we interact with customers, the way it reshapes our process and technology, and the way we then use data insights for governance. These are 4 disciplines. If you're not touching all 4 disciplines, do not call it HR transformation. You can call it HR digitization. You will have better acceptance from your leaders, from your managers. They will not expect transformation. And I've seen large organizations call it digitization because that's what it is, and they've been mighty successful. And there have been other examples as well. Now, during the planning stages, when you are stepping out to think that why do I need to solve this problem? Another pitfall is that we take a very HR mindset. The system is not for HR. Like this gentleman over here who will purchase an expense and reimbursement system, he will need to think of how easy it will be for an employee to claim reimbursements. How easy it will be for employees to know the policies so that, let's say, if they put in a claim which is above a certain limit, the employee should know it's above a certain limit and should be able to take some corrective action. Yes, from an HR perspective, it will enable reporting, there will be process compliance, workflows will work better, but the success will depend on how well that last mile employee who's sitting in some remote part of the world or a developed part of the world should find it easy to use. Break out of that HR for HR mindset. And the other one is, when you are thinking or developing opinions, look at taking a cross-functional view. It helps in 2 things. It makes all of the obstacles easier to overcome. So if you've not consulted with IT, or in the cases of expenses, if you've not consulted with procurement, or if you've not looked at your compliance policies or the compliance team, depending on the sector where you are in, having a cross-functional view of what may hit you later will help. George Patton used to say, the more you sweat in peace, the less you'll bleed in war. The more we prep, the less risk we have of a downstream failure or a downstream roadblock coming up. And there are 2 ways to visualize it, right? One I'll show you is how you break that mindset, and the other one will be around how you really start thinking around. Every one of us needs to build a case, right? There needs to be a business case or an investment case. How can you make that more robust? How can you create more of a transformative view of smaller things that you do and the impact that they can make? Simple frameworks which you can use. Let's look at this chart, right? It's got 100 squares in it and there's 1 red square. If it's an HR for HR thinking, you will impact the HR budget. And that's the impact you're making on your entire organization. I've been in evaluations where past investment cases have failed because they were just driven by, this is what we are paying for our system right now, this is what we want to pay, oh, the new system is more expensive. Doesn't work. Well, it's creating 30% efficiency on HR's line. But 30% efficiency on HR's line is just this block. How can we expand our thinking to effectiveness? Think of the time you save for managers, for employees. Think of the time, I'll take the recruitment example now, right? If a candidate has to search for a job on a website, let's say he's not finding a job, he's just attracted to an organization and he or she just wants to go there, look at a job or find jobs relevant to his skills. If they cannot find it, they may not visit your website again. If the application process takes longer or if the resume pathing doesn't work, your recruiter efficiency suffers. Because recruiter efficiency is suffering, you will send the CV to the manager and the manager will not have the right insights. Manager's time is getting wasted. I've done this exercise for banks and all of a sudden from 30% productivity in HR, the conversation changes to 4% productivity at an employee level. And financial services organizations or people-intensive organizations, efficiency on people means you can directly correlate to a possible increase in net revenue per headcount or even take it further and call it a net improvement in EBITDA. What is the net you are missing? Think about it. HR for HR thinking is great. You will need it. Because at the end of the day, it needs to solve the purpose of compliance, of consistent service delivery, it needs to solve the purpose of accurate reporting. But the system will be used. Think of an employee who's not visible in the organization, step into their shoes and feel how will they use the system. And this is connected. When I talk about evaluation, when I talk about deployment, this one statement will come back. Now, what is it that we are solving? I have usually urged attendees or people who are building that case to keep it simple. What are you solving for managers? What are you solving for employees? What are you solving for HR? What are you solving for leaders? Now, look at this. It's not just an HR only mindset. Right? What will people get? And you will see that there is an emotion attached to it. When you are planning or when you are building your case, there is some selling happening. Can we make it emotive selling and make that emotive selling real? And this comes with conversations, this comes with cross-functional teams coming together to at least bring out the pain which we have right now. This doesn't take long, by the way. So it's not very extensive. You can have a cross-functional team. People in your team can just go ahead, ask those conversations with those respective stakeholder groups that, we're planning to conduct this exercise. What would you think you want out of it? So these are ideal statements. A leader wants confident decisions. Someone wants that, I'm going through a lot of organization, reorganization, how can we be faster in doing all of these things? And then you take them a step ahead. So the next thing is, what is your promise going to be? Your promise can look something like this. Yeah, I'll give you time to go through it, but there is a pain point. So you have the ideal experience. I want to take a confident decision. Why cannot I take a confident decision? What will happen if I get to take a confident decision? I'll feel that the organization trusts me, the organization empowers me. These, by the way, when you are implementing our good change management messages, it is all linked. This, in many ways, becomes your change storyboard as well. As a person who's done deployments, who's fought with clients, who's fought with as products, who say that, hey, why did we budget change management and so on? I'll come to that also. There are certain elements which we should not delete, which we should not, we should try to retain whenever we work with partners. And this is not just applicable for a large scale deployment. It is applicable for any deployment. So if it's recruitment, have a column over here for candidates. Speak with your candidates. And these are simple statements you answer. What will they experience? What is the belief? What is the result? That result can be measured. This also forms an evaluation parameter, which is more closer to your context, not what the platform wants to show you. So, two very big things. Cast a wider net. understand the user. And these are simple exercises through which you can understand the user. For a large organization, I'm saying 25,000 plus, this exercise takes about 2 weeks. When not done with an intervention of a person like you just go across, ask, and you come up with a canvas like this. Where do we take it from there? Then we know, okay, these are the pain points we need to solve for. Let's go out there, look in the market. You may already have a shortlist in mind. Then you start engaging with that shortlist and you enter what is called the evaluation cycle. Yeah? Let's talk about the evaluation cycle. You are evaluating for experience and value. You are not evaluating for specifications. Specifications have a very important role to play. Please don't get me wrong. Whenever a tech RFP is done, you'll have functional requirements, technical requirements, mobile requirements. All of those are needed. They are needed because this is your way of looking at whether a product, whether a partner can meet your needs today, tomorrow, your wish list. It's needed. But don't just rely on that. Your purchase, when cloud had initially started getting steam in Southeast Asia 2014-15, many of the clients I would speak with, they would say that, yeah, we'll change our platform again. Cloud has very low loyalty, it's easy to move, we'll change it. But in reality, it's very difficult to move. So whether or not you're buying cloud, buying something which is easily a bolt-on, you are still spending your time, your energy, your resources, the company's time, company's energy, company's resources. You are choosing for the longer horizon. Go out there, ask people, there's many over there, right from the SOW to ABCD, you'll find a lot of platforms over there. Everyone's put up a demo, including my product. Everyone's put up a demo, but they will show you what they have to show you. That same thing happens when you call people for a demo session or a platform showcase when you're not clear on what you want. So if your plan is not in place, they'll come and show you what they want on something that they have already configured. It's like a stock instance and it's already there. You are not looking for it. You want a product which will work for you. How do you get there? I'll tell you how do you get there. I'll come to the Me Too pricing later. That's a very important message I want to leave with all of you. But those checklists are going to get you only so far. Look at these 6 things that should comprise of your evaluation parameters. Look at how adaptable is the system. If there is one thing the last 2 years have taught us is our strategies will change. We will organize, we will reorganize, we'll have different ways of working, we'll have hybrid, we'll have work from home. How adaptable is a platform? How easy is it for you to organize, reorganize, do mass changes, things like those? It's applicable across, right? So if you're doing recruiting, you have a vendor who's going to give you 20 CVs. Nobody has time to put 20 CVs on it one after the other, right? Can you do bulk uploads? Adaptability. How quickly can you change? How seamless is it for you to change your platform configuration with regards to your needs, or every time when you need to depend on an external person to do it, or even if you're depending on an external person, will it cost you? Look at the architecture. Architecture is very important. That's how products are built. Why do I say this? I say this even more so now because architecture is at the heart of every product. And it is that one architecture which is driving toward 3 very important things for you. We are seeing data privacy become very, very important. Right? China was the last one to come up with a PIPL. No, not actually China. China was last year. Thailand came out with their PDPA this June. Singapore already has one in place. Malaysia is in the process of rolling out. Almost each and every country will soon have data regulations, and that is an opportunity as well as a big challenge if you're on cloud systems which have data centers in fixed places. How well can the architecture help you solve for things like those? Number one. How well can the architecture help you extend the system, extend the platform? I see this a lot on regulated sectors. Like there is a massive effort on discipline and compliance. We don't have a module for discipline and compliance. How can you use a platform for doing discipline and compliance or recruitment and onboarding? Right? If you look at the airlines industry, right? You do mass hirings. You have one setup, 500 people hired in one day. Same applies for technology and business process services. How do you solve for that? The better you plan, the better you can have those use cases to evaluate architecture. Extensibility. 25 systems is what we deal with on our phones. That research which I spoke of earlier. Your investment in an HR platform must also speak with the rest of your enterprise architecture. How easy is it to integrate? How easy is it to create new APIs, make systems talk to each other? We don't look at these, and believe me, these are the biggest roadblockers which we give. You've been halfway through the evaluation and you realize, this system can't speak to my finance master, or it's a very complex integration, I'll have to shell out more money. How do you solve for that? You solve for that in the evaluation stages. Look for success. Software as a service, post go live. Go live is not a moment to celebrate. Well, it is, but it's also a very nervous moment, right? That's when you invite people. You build this grand store or a grand experience. This is the time when you're inviting people to come experience it. So it's also a nervous moment. Think of how well will that product or your service provider work with you post your go live. And that just doesn't mean application management services. Everyone provides agents. What beyond it? What beyond it? Look for innovation. On innovation, I always share this story. There's a bank in Canada, let me not take their names. They had a long list of 4 providers they wanted to evaluate. Their evaluation timeline before they released the RFP or whatever was 18 months spent in tracking innovation. That they would look at the product roadmap, they would see what was actually released. I'm giving you an extreme. But why is innovation important? Because you need to know how well is a platform innovating. Technology will evolve, your needs will evolve. And these things don't come out of a functional checklist. Functional checklist is, this is my process, will you be able to do it? This is the report I want, will you be able to deliver it? None of this comes in a functional checklist. This comes out through conversations. This comes out through not doing stock demos, but giving them use cases. Invest time with your people, right? You give them a sheet, say that this is how my process is currently. Show me what my future experience will be. By the way, these are the things I desire. See what you want to see. And organizations are doing that right now. I'm seeing a lot more use case based evaluations happening. But still, use case based evaluation is the tip of the iceberg. I've seen organizations who ask for sandbox logins, and you can do that, by the way, right? If there is a product which tells you they will not give you a sandbox license, you can negotiate, you can push them. Get a sandbox login, see how the product feels, see as an administrator how well you will be able to use it. Do all of that. Nothing stops you. It's that old mindset of functional checklist, 1 week of demo, and then we go into selection. And when you do all of this, you realize that subscription is not the only cost which you are incurring. Your subscription fee per employee per month, per employee per year is not the only cost you are incurring. There will be costs of maintenance, there will be costs of enhancements, there will be costs of integrations. Using these 6, you will be able to touch upon everything. Yeah, we started 5 minutes late. I might just take 5 more minutes. I do get carried away when I talk about evaluations. But look at this. Look at these 6 parameters. They'll really help. And believe you me, try it out. Walk outside, ask people about these 6 parameters. You will see fumbling voices. Nobody thinks like this. But this is what matters to an enterprise. Now, let's talk about deployment implementation. You've selected. Hopefully by now you've done your planning right. You've found a product which fits beautifully. And now you're in your implementation stages. I still will cover B2 pricing. I remember that last month. Okay. On implementation, what happens typically is you have process experts. You have the head of HR, you have COE heads, you have your COE head direct reports. The process owner is somewhere below. Not to undermine the process owner, but the process owner will just have a process view. He or she will not have the view of the pain of the employee. He or she will not have the view of what's out there, what's happening, what are the other conversations happening. Do not try and put old wine in new bottle. The very reason you're looking for a new product is you want to change experience. Now, if it comes to a stage where you will have to force fit your old process, expenses for example, right? We need a hard copy of the expense. Why? Now you are getting scanners, you can scan, you can upload, you can validate. Why do you need hard copies? We need e-memos of a workflow. Everything on cloud is auditable. Why do you need an email? It is fights like this which create a lot of friction during implementation. It is not understanding the end user view which creates that view of failures later when all of a sudden managers will see and they'll be like, no, that's not what I want. So time spent by senior HR leaders and work with your product or implementation partner to create that time. For example, let's say if it's a recruitment related product you're buying, create that time with your implementation partner to take key design decisions. Design decisions will be like, from the candidate side, is there an ideal click-through rate which I want? From an HR perspective, can anyone create a job requisition or job requisitions will be gated? Will we check whether that position exists or not? Just do those high-level decisions and move forward. Senior leaders' time is needed. Do a lot of prototyping. Don't fall into that thing of, okay, we'll prototype everything. But the critical experiences, do prototyping and involve people. I've seen a lot of deployments, but even on longer deployments, I have insisted to my clients that, just when we are ready with an initial prototype, we want to do a pilot. Bring in your employees. Let's show them the system. We'll not show them the entire system. Right now, we are ready with how you apply for leave or how your profile will look like or how a job description will look like. Let's take that experience. It is all coming from your plan. Right? Leaders want to take confident decisions. Employees want to feel empowered. Managers need to feel enabled. Are we bringing those emotions to life? Yeah? And on this one, I will leave you with one very important thought. Right? There was one framework that I gave where there was HR budget and HR efficiency and HR effectiveness. Your platform is the smallest cog in the wheel of your transformation, your technology. Be willing to change certain parts of your processes. Policies is a far stretch, but yes, include that. There are two very important things, right? You have people, you have processes, and they are coming to life on a technology. One very common mistake I see organizations do is that you will use your customer journey examples to do employee experience. It works, I'm not saying it doesn't work, but there is a flaw over there. The flaw is that in that same journey, you just don't have the candidate, you have multiple people. That is why HR or people or worker experience is far more complex than customer experience. If you think of a candidate applying or if you think of the entire hiring life cycle, it is not just the candidate. You have to fulfill the needs of a hiring manager. You have to fulfill the needs of a recruiter, and it becomes very complex. 8 out of 10 customer journeys which I will see on recruitment will just focus on the candidate. Why? That person hasn't even joined you yet, but you have managers who are struggling to bring on the right talent for your organization. What about their experience? What are the people behaviors which need to change? Again, sticking with recruiting or sticking with performance. Recruiting is about the candidate feeling valued. So can the recruiter actually change his or her behavior? System can nudge. That please be in touch with this candidate at regular intervals. Hey, you've not spoken with him in three weeks. The process is still on. We see that he or she is in progress, right? I'm really running out of time, but I'll try and not fasten this out. From a readiness perspective, here are things which may change. Be prepared for that, right? So for your management, and this acts as a great change storyboard, right? Management, why are we doing this? How will we take care of it? From a functional perspective, your organization data, your employee data, jobs data, any framework. Framework could be in recruitment, what is our selection framework, on performance competencies. You know, people want talent marketplace. Anyone over here using a talent marketplace or aspiring for a talent marketplace? Very good. Now, your talent marketplace will not work if that functional data is not there. How will you capture it before you go live? How will you have your employee profiles ready? So, these are things you need to be ready for and you need to start thinking of from your day one. What is my end state? And then, even more important, technical readiness. HR usually does not get into it, but please start getting into it. Yes, IT will have their policies, IT will guide you, but it's an HR system. It is solving the need of a functional need. I'm on time, but I will cover about your go live. Digital is a journey. Your go live is a milestone, but it's not the celebration. I take multiple examples. You know, I've been prepping for 2 days to host a party at my place today. But when my guests come in, I'm very nervous. I celebrate after the party. Or after the party, I'm planning for the next one, right? Yeah. So it's a journey, right? It's my journey of being socially active. That same philosophy should apply when you go on a vacation, right? Your one vacation ends, you're ready for the next one. It's your journey of enjoying your life. Similarly, a platform is your journey of continuously delivering value for your organization, experience for users, and that list can go on. How do you realize that? Are the things which we typically take out of all implementations, right? You know, my implementation provider will factor in change management. No, we'll handle it inside. After AMS, there will be like quarterly reviews, which are of course charged for. We'll handle it inside. So, your classical adoption, which organizations do, will at best stabilize or will at best enable people. You will have guides, you will do training sessions, you will do all of that. It is just enabling you. You've set up a lot of reports. Reports is not equal to impact. Then when you start thinking of impact, what you get is that you start optimizing. You will get data around how well my system is being used. Oh, you know, mobile features aren't being used. Why aren't they being used? Well, because multi-factor authentication takes a lot of time. Okay, let's try and fix that. Let's improve adoption. That is impact. And transformation happens when data is looked at, when data is acted upon. That's where we get to a full-scale transformation of things. So governance becomes equally important, and it's cross-functional. So, you know, I'm almost on time. I'll leave you with this parting thought, and that's why I say spend a lot of time in planning, thinking through what employees want, what managers want. It wasn't the visible that sank the tide. With that note, thank you so much. You've been a very patient audience. I hope I was able to leave you with some provocative thoughts, and do feel free to reach out to me if you have any further comments or questions or suggestions. Thank you.